here they are, my potentially counterfeit Prismacolor colored pencils. I'm not trying to get sued here, so throughout the video I'm going to refer to these as my potentially counterfeit Prismas. So this story starts out where all good stories start off, eBay. So while casually looking through eBay, I stumbled across this 24 pack of Prismacolor pencils for only $8. And the second I laid my eyes on them, I knew these were a scam and I had to have them. And yeah, like a week and a half later, they showed up at my doorstep and lo and behold, here they are. And now that I'm actually holding them in my hand, my first question is, why is everything in Spanish? I did a little research and I found out that Prismacolor, the main branch, is actually made in Mexico, so the pencils we get here in America are made there. So it kind of makes sense, right? Well, apparently not. These are actually not made in Mexico, they're actually made in Venezuela, so I had to do more Googling and find out more information. And surprise, surprise, I didn't find much. Basically, the parent company of Prisma has a branch in Venezuela, and that branch, I don't know if they're considered authentic Prisma or not, this is what their actual products look like. And as you're about to see in a few seconds, these pencils look nothing like the Venezuela branch. Also note, Prismacolor.com does not have any of these products that I just showed on their website, so take that with what you will. These pencils look very similar to the Prismacolor Premier pencils, and they look just like them on the outside packaging, so today that's what we are going to compare them to. And so, when I first pulled it out, I was surprised to see that it's naked! I've never seen a pencil that doesn't have the coloring on the outside. It looks so drastically different than any Prismacolor I've ever laid my eyes on. But there were a few things that I did notice upon first inspection. First thing is the logo is different than the actual Prismacolor. It's like elongated and it's bigger, and even the writing is gold when it's traditionally this white color that you see here. So it's little small things like this that make me think maybe it's fake. So just as another casual reminder, this is what the South American packaging looks like. As you can see, they're color wrapped when mine are just plain and naked. So this is another reason why I think these are counterfeit and not just South American packaging. Another thing that caught my eye is that the eBay pencils have a green tint to them, while the Prismacolor, which is made out of cedar, has like a normal wood color to it. But who knows, maybe it's just the trees are different down there, thus giving it a different color. One thing Prismacolor is crazy about is color matching, so every single red that you ever get from Prismacolor should all look the same. So in theory, all of these colors should match up, but of course, that's not the case. It kind of sucked because there wasn't just like normal primary, secondary colors, there was like a lot of weird off colors. And I felt like I couldn't evenly compare the colors because there's not any colors that fully matched besides white and black. But anyway, I think I've rambled enough, so let's start the testing on these pencils. Let's do a drawing and see how everything works out. The easiest color to test out will be black, since everybody has a black in their colored pencils. And yeah, I was actually really surprised how well the black worked. I mean, it did smear, like, a lot, but hey, it was actually really impressive. And it made me wonder, did I do something either really good or really bad? So I figured let's try this exact test again, except this time with a white colored pencil. And again, to my surprise, yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I mean, it's not as pigmented, of course, but yeah, it performed all white. And as of right now, I'm feeling pretty positive about these pencils. That's actually not bad at all. But dude, you know we have to try these out with blending tests. So the first circle is going to be Prismacolor and the second color is going to be the eBay pencils. And of course, Prismacolor has great blending, great saturation, but will the same be said about these pencils? And I swear, I tried and tried so hard to color match, but this is the darkest blue they had, and also this is the darkest green that they had. And sadly, blending on the eBay pencils did not work out as well as expected, especially being under the brand Prismacolor. So yeah, I guess the real test is gonna come up now when we start the drawing. Oh god, dude, I am such a nerd. I left my mosquito repellent bracelet on when filming. Oh god. Anyway, so I'm just gonna draw first with the Prismacolor a strawberry, nothing too crazy, just kind of like a cartoony looking strawberry, and we will use this to compare the other pencils to. Alright, so this is the almost finished drawing made with authentic Prismacolors. I'm going to keep it as fair game as possible and draw the exact same thing on the exact same paper, use the exact same tools, everything. So, yeah, let's start. To start out, I had to dump out every single color because they're not color coded, and I had to pick out one by one which color would match best with the colors that I just used. And again, it kind of sucks that there's not the greatest color selection in these pencils. Like, for example, there's not a lot of greens or reds or blues in the pack, but there's a lot of gray. So that was kind of an interesting decision on their part. Out of all the colors they could have added, including primary, they added 4 shades of gray. But whatever, that's water under the bridge. Let's move on to this drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is put down a nice base layer of red. And already, sadly, I ran into my first problem with the pencils, and that is that the reds are too alike. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but usually there's like a cool tone red and a warm tone red, but these two reds look very, very similar. But that's alright, later I will go in and, color change it, add some more blue, or, just make it look darker. So as I was drawing, I noticed it was super easy to pick up the pigment. Like, as you guys just saw, all I had to do was kind of swirl it around a little bit, and it was all over my hand. Like, I've never seen that before. It's kind of like chalk pastels. So here's a better look of it smearing all over the paper. Given I did swirl it around with my hand, but still, it was doing that before previously. And now we are at the point where the magic happens. So what I'm going to do is brighten up the rim of the strawberry with a white colored pencil and just start layering and brightening everything up and adding in shadows and highlights and stuff like that. Okay, apparently these don't layer at all, which is a really big problem. And I'm pressing hard here, people. I tried different methods. I can't get these to layer at all. And now, to be honest with you, I'm kind of panicking because there is absolutely no way for me to get depth in this if I can't put in highlights. So I have no idea what to do. And now I guess the only thing I can do now is move on to detail. I had to use black since there's no brown. And the black was like leaving hard marks, like I couldn't blend it to the red since it doesn't layer well at all. Plus that black was too harsh and it made it look even more cartoony, like in a bad way. At this point, I have no idea what to do, so I try picking up the white again, and again, it's just not layering, like, at all. And so, I have no idea what to do. At this point, I am huffing and puffing because it's not working, so I move on to the leaves, and I do have a few colors that work pretty well with the leaves, and I'll go back to the white later. So as I'm working on the leaves, I find that there is a silver that actually works as a replacement for the white colored pencil since it actually layers and actually works. So I decide to use it on not just the leaves but on the strawberry too to try to lighten it. Well, the weirdest thing then happens. So here I am putting a highlight on the leaves. As you can see, it kind of lightens it. And then on the strawberry, it leaves a dark gray. What the heck? So obviously I'm not going to use that white to layer, so the only option I have left is to try to erase some of the colored pencil to lighten it. But then we run into another problem. These pencils completely erase. Now, I think that'd be cool for a lot of people, but I was not expecting that. I was expecting them to be like normal color pencils, where you erase them, they don't erase that well, and it just leaves like a lightened version. So there goes my next plan to lighten the strawberry. But aha! I have one last trick up my sleeve. That's just to use my white marker pen to add in some highlights. Well, surprise, surprise, the marker pen doesn't layer either. It worked for like half a second, and now it doesn't work. It doesn't layer on the colored pencils. Now this isn't normal for a white marker pen, so I start shaking it and trying to layer, press really light, press really hard, everything in my power to layer, and it just does not layer. And then, of course, when I get frustrated and toss the marker, then it layers onto the paper. So at this point, I don't really know what to do. I can't layer, so that means I can't add lights and darks. There's no darker red for me to go in with. There's no brown. I don't know what to do. And I've been pressing so hard that the paper is starting to boil up and get ruined. I feel like I've been pushed into a corner. I feel like there's nothing I can really do at this point. I feel like I can't save this without outside sources, and that's not what this is going to be. So for the first time in the history of my YouTube channel, I am going to give up on a drawing. So here's the final version of what I could create. As you can see, the reds just bleed together. The pigment is so waxy, it's scratchy. Man, these are bad pencils. So yeah, I guess my official grade of these pencils is they're just bad. Having the Prismacolor name on them, I would expect them to just work a little bit, but it couldn't even give me that. I'm glad I bought these, and I'm glad I got to test these out, and I'm glad I got to share the information with you guys. This was quite an experience. I felt like that other drawing made me appreciate Prismacolor that much more because, like I said, I was able to blend and add shadows and colors and all kinds of stuff. And you don't even have to get expensive colored pencils. You can get Crayola, or you can go to Hobby Lobby and get Sargent brand for really cheap, and they work amazing. Anyway guys, that's all I have for you today. If you want to check out more of my drawings, that's what my Instagram is for. You can see everything that I've ever painted or drawn. And if you want some more behind the scenes stuff, my Snap and Twitter are up as well. And with that being said, I love you guys, and I'll see you next video.